right, my friends, welcome back. This is going to be part 113 on my presentation on the flood in Noah's Ark. And guys, we're going to do something a little bit different here in this video. Now, if you'll notice on the screen here, just to kind of catapult us into this topic, we were talking about the Himalayas. What I want you to do is go down to the highlighted area. It says home of the Himalayas are home of the abominable snowman. In Nepal, it is called Yeti. It is also reported seen in parts of China, Siberia, and other areas of Asia. In North America, it is called Bigfoot. And in Canada, Sasquatch. And so now this right here is a map of the Himalayas. And if you'll notice above Nepal, it says you got the Yeti sightings. The Yeti sightings. Now, I originally, when I was first putting my material on YouTube, I did the dinosaur and man presentation in 2018, in the summer of 2018. In the summer of 2019, I recorded the flood in Noah's Ark. And these were much longer videos, guys. And I have added some more material since then. And so now you're getting, the presentations are much shorter, but there's many more videos. And so just the dinosaur and man presentation, I got about 110, 111 videos, I think. And so, but in this one here, of course, I'm not sure how many videos we're going to have, but I've added some more stuff to the Bigfoot presentation, of the Bigfoot block here that I have in here. But when I was originally putting together the material for the Himalayas, I came across the Yeti, the information on the Yeti and Bigfoot and stuff like that. So I figured, why not? You know, guys, I really truly believe that those of us that are teachers and preachers, that we need to have an answer to those people that come to us and ask us even questions about this. Now, most of the time, if somebody was to ask this question in a church or a Sunday school group or a church environment, they're going to get laughed at. They're going to get laughed at. Why? Because I've been laughed at. And so I think that's really, though, a horrible way to answer somebody when somebody asks somebody that they are putting their trust into to give them an honest answer or a solid answer as they can get from somebody that they put their trust in, that is standing and a representative of the Lord and His Word. And so we're going to be judged. Those of us that are teachers and preachers, we're going to be judged by those things out of this book, much greater than your average person that just studies it. Because I'm standing as a representative of this Bible right here. And and what I'm telling you is the truths of it. And so I don't take that lightly. I really don't. And stuff like this, you know, even though as lightheartedly as most people seem to take it, believe me, I know, guys, I've been doing this a long time. As lighthearted as a lot of these people seem to take this, somebody can be steered wrong if they're given the wrong information. And so I'm going to give you a biblical worldview of this. And those of us that teach and preach, even though if you don't have an answer for somebody, always tell them, you know what? If you don't know, just tell them, I'm not sure, but I tell you what, let's both find out together. And you'll gain respect, and also you'll get that person to come to you more often when they have a future a question about something. But to laugh at them and make some snob comment about them, you're going to end up losing somebody because of that. And that person could end up getting their information from the wrong source, and then you're going to have somebody tell them that it's a missing link, and then they're going to end up going down the road of evolution. You know, and so believe me, guys, I'm telling you, I've talked to so many people through the years about these type of topics, and you would be amazed, guys. You would be amazed what Christians believe. I've talked to them. And so I'm telling you, it's out there. I'm telling you some of the things that they come up with. And so, but at any rate, I had an individual when I was first putting this on YouTube tell me that the Yeti and the Bigfoot are two separate creatures. And so I'm not going to get into the Yeti. I'm centering my attention on Bigfoot. And so it seems to me, though, that for the most part, the similarities between the two are great. They seem to be, for the most part, the same type of descriptions. Though, I mean, you got a harsher type of climate and environment that the Yeti would be in. And so I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I'm not going to get into the Yeti part, but the Bigfoot, that's what I'm going to get into. That's what this whole video is going to be about. And I'm going to try to cover everything that I can in this one video. That way we can get back on target with the mountains, And we're going to come back to the mountains. I'm just taking a little side layover here to talk about this Yeti here or Bigfoot. And so, but if you'll notice, anytime you're looking for Bigfoot, you're going to go under this category here, cryptozoology. And which crypto, if you break it up, you got crypto and zoology. Crypto means secret or hidden. Zoology means the science or branch of biology dealing with animals. So when you put them both together, it means the study of hidden animals. Excuse me. Now, in your mainstream science, they do not consider this real science. They consider this pseudoscience, which I really think they are really doing a disservice to those that are in it, because you've got some people with credentials, serious credentials, that have studied some of the animals that have been reported under the category of cryptozoology. And so they call them cryptids. Anytime you have an animal or any type of creature that falls under that category, they consider them cryptids. Now, one was the coelacanth, which they now know that it is a real animal, considered to be a living fossil now. It was discovered still alive in 1938 off Africa, thought to have went extinct about 65 million years ago. That's the time of the dinosaurs, guys. That is the time of the dinosaurs. And there you go right there. There is the coelacanth. Now, I don't know that if it's ever been reported to still be alive up until the time they found it. I don't know. But, usually when you talk about cryptozoology, the coelacanth is going to be thrown in there. And so, but I'm not going to go into this animal or into any other animals leading up to Bigfoot. I'm just giving you some examples. And so, the Apatosaurus sightings have been all where the white dots are. And now Stegosaur type of animals have been where you see the red dots are. Now I go into some of these animals when I was going through my man and dinosaur presentation. So if you want to see that, go through that. My gosh, guys, I got 111 videos in that one there. So if you want to learn some really wild stuff, some neat stuff, and where to learn more, go through that one presentation. And so plenty there to go through. And so, but at any rate, the stegosaur-like creatures that's been reported have been in those areas with the red dots. And so plesiosaur-like creatures, and again, there's the picture of the plesiosaur, all where the white dots are. It's kind of wild when you put the reports up, it kind of gives little patterns here and there. And so now one of the photographs by Sandy Mancy was a Champ in Lake Champlain. And that's the picture, her most famous picture of Champ. And so is it a plesiosaur, guys? Is it? And so now when we're talking about sea monsters and stuff like that, that would fall under your cryptozoology. And so let me tell you guys, there's got to be something to it more. And I'm going to give you a Bible verse that you can definitely go to back up the claim that there definitely could be some, now I'm going to use the simplistic term that we can all understand, prehistoric animals in the waters. There's nothing that is really prehistoric. There's really no such thing as prehistoric. And so prehistory, I guess you could say. But The Bible, whenever God was judging, when we're talking about the flood and stuff like that, it was the land animals. The land animals, for the most part, is what he was after. It says, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life. Notice this: of all that was in the dry land died. Of all that was in the dry land died. Now, do we have aquatic creatures that did die? Yes, because we have their fossils. And so by the hundreds of thousands that have been found. But there's also a lot of them that did not die, that are still alive. And so in the ocean waters is a pretty vast area of land, of area on the planet. And it's just incredible what could still be alive. What could still be alive. Now, some people say, well, I think dinosaurs were killed off at the Ice Age. Well, the Ice Age covered about 30% of the land on the planet. And it's debatable who are there. Some people might say it may be a little bit more, and some people might say it's a little bit less. But for the most part, they're both in agreement from what I've been able to find. And you got different areas here of the that I've added some more where from Earth in Upheaval, where Emmanuel Velikovsky talks about some areas that weren't on that map, and I just made them there. If you want to pause the video and look at this map, where I've added some other glacier type activity, and not very much. Africa, you got South America, and then Asia and India for the most part. But then you got the reports, the dinosaur reports, where the colored dots are. If you notice that's in areas that do not have the Ice Age. And the Earth, I'm not doubting the Earth was a bit cooler at that time, but still, look where the dots are at. It's in areas that do not have the Ice Age. There's no Ice Age coverage where those dots are. And so they're close. Again, they're close, but, still, just going by the reports. And it's very unique. When I was going through the Ice Age, I was looking at the map and the reports, and I was like, wow. I said, that's really wild how you can look at that, the reports, and where the Ice Age is. And so you're very unique. Now, when it comes to Bigfoot, this is one photograph that you are going to see. It's a very famous photograph. Now, guys, I am not going into real deep dive details here, okay? I'm going to give you kind of a brief history on this, very brief. You can go and do more into it. I'm just going to give you a biblical worldview on it. And then you can take that biblical worldview. Remember, guys, keep what you see in this world and what you hear in this world in a biblical worldview, and it will steer you away from error. It really will. And so you got to keep a biblical worldview. It's so important. You'll hear me hammer that over and over and over again. And so this is what's called the Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967. And they took a camera out and got this creature right here that walking. It was walking. And it turned around and they got a shot of it. And they believe it's a female. And you can see what appears to be breast. And I'm telling you what, you're talking about a debated photograph or a debated film. This is it. But there's been people that's looked over it and they've done some video enhancing, picture enhancing and stuff. And it looks like, guys, you can see muscles and all types of stuff. I mean, it just looks like if this is a person in a suit, they did one of the best jobs that has ever been done. And so, especially at the time there. But again, this picture right here, this is one of the most famous films ever done. And so now, when we talk about a biblical worldview when it comes to that, Donnie, is there actually creatures out there that are half human, half ape? No, there's not. The evolution, by evolution terms, somebody that believes in evolution would say yes. Bigfoot has to be a half human, half ape kind of a missing link type of thing. They believe that, and then remember now, in evolution, just giving it real brief, up to 6 million years ago, they believe that humans branched off from the chimpanzee, and that's where we came from, as a being or a creature that came from the chimpanzees, and here we are today. And so again, this is just a picture here of what they believe, and you got different ones in there, including the Neanderthals. And but I've got it right there, Homo sapiens. That's where we're at, modern humans. And so that is the evolutionary side, which is a direct opposition of what the Bible states. Bible states is that there were 6 literal days of creation, 24-hour periods. 24-hour periods. Now, this is King James Bible. And so 24-hour periods, you cannot miss it. When it says that the evening and the morning was the first day, the evening and the morning was the second day, and then on and on and on, all the way to day 6. How do you get anything different than one day when the Bible clearly says the evening and the morning was the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, and the sixth day? How do you get anything different, guys? And I've had Christians, when I show them this, that will still say, well, I believe that the days are time periods of time. How much more blind? You know what? I mean, you can't help somebody. You really can't help somebody when they just absolutely refuse to believe that. Why do they want to contradict God? Why do they want to bring God down any lower than what his word says? Is beyond my understanding. I just cannot understand that. When I first started studying the Bible, I started studying Genesis. I always started with Genesis. I didn't even have anybody really there with me. I was studying with Pastor Chuck Smith on tape. But when I came to these verses, guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a little 24-hour period. It was just as literal black and white. And why folks want to throw in days and age times and trying to squeeze in evolution in there, I just can't understand it. I just can't understand it. And God will not honor that type of interpretation. He will not. He will not. But man and dinosaurs and all the other land animals was created on day 6. Day 6. There's no evolution. They were created distinct, separate things from each other. Now, when you're going into the history of Bigfoot, it goes back pretty a long ways. Leif Erikson, 1001 AD, Viking commander, he said during his exploration of Newfoundland, Canada's east coast, he and his men saw hairy, ugly giants with great black eyes that uttered harsh cries. This is the earliest recorded encounter with Bigfoot and Sasquatch. Reverend Elkanah Walker, a missionary to the Spokane Indians in the 1800s, 1838 to 1848, when describing the Bigfoot in his memoirs, he wrote, "Bear with me if I trouble you with a little of their superstition." So you can see where he kind of, I don't know about this. They believe in a race of giants which inhabit a certain mountain off the west of us. This mountain is covered with perpetual snow. They, the creatures, inhabit the snow peaks. They hunt and do all their work at night. They are men stealers. They are men stealers. They come to the people's lodges at night when the people are asleep and take them and put them under their skins and to their place of abode without even waking. Their track is 1.5 feet long. They steal salmon from Indian nets and eat them raw, as the bears do. Sound a lot like the Bigfoot, don't it? If the people are awake, they always know when they are coming very near by their strong smell that is most intolerable. It is not uncommon for them to come in the night and give 3 whistles, so they can whistle, and the stones will begin to hit their houses. And so that's one of the things that they believe is that, well, that's one thing that is reported, is that Bigfoots will throw stones. A lot of times will throw stones. And so Elkanah goes on to say, Elkanah also stated that the Indians call these creatures seat-coos or selatics. Seat-coos or selatics. Now, guys, this is back in the 1800s. All right, let's stop right there. When I come back, I'm going to introduce you to an individual in a group that has done some incredible research on this topic. But you guys take care. I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.